I wish I could do that thing with the eyebrows. What's up, guys? I need to explain something really quick because a lot of people weren't listening to what I was saying. That this wasn't going to be a consecutive 12 days of Christmas. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drop the Christmas and just say 12 days, MD 12 days. Because it's no longer Christmas and I wasn't able to do all of the 12 days before Christmas because, or the 12 videos. I wasn't going to do 12 days anyways, the 12 videos of Christmas or before Christmas because my asthma got really bad these past few days. Almost always. If you guys remember, I was like, oh my God, it was the same time. The last Christmas in a video where I showed you guys what I got, I wasn't even talking in the video because my asthma was really bad. So almost always in the same time, I don't know what it is about Christmas time that my asthma just gets horrible. So I'm just going to do MD 12 days. I'm just going to do 12 days of questions and answers. You know, for the holidays, we still have New Year's and all that stuff. So just for this time of year, during this time of year, I'm going to be doing questions and answers and stuff like that. So yeah, I won't be showing what I got for Christmas this time because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be asking that in this video because you still ask your questions. I will still be doing these. So I'm probably going to do it for the next MD 12 days. Yeah, before we get into the questions, let me talk about Ability Drain's nickname from Varric. I asked you guys to give me some suggestions last video, so there were some pretty good ones. I was surprised not to see more, but these are the ones that we got. We got Cupid, Tranquil, Sunshine. I was like, no, Sunshine's taken. That was Bethany's, so no Sunshine. Hot Lips or Lips. I actually like. She went on there and said that her nickname for a while had been Lips, and she was like going into like vulgar stuff, and she was like wondering why people would call her Lips, but it was because of her lips. I think it would be a pretty good nickname because of what she says, and I think it would be pretty good, but I don't know. This one kind of made me laugh was Mouse because she is so quiet and reserved. Choir girl, kind of like Sebastian instead of choir boy, choir girl. I don't know about that one. Sweetie or Cutie, just to piss her off. And Tackle. I think out of those, my favorite one is either Lips or Mouse. I think Ability had a pretty fun time looking at you guys' suggestions because she was looking in the comments of that video for that. What do you think of Jennifer Hale's performance for Krem in Dragon Age Inquisition and the character in general? I love the character. I think Jennifer Hale did an amazing job for this character. At first I didn't know it was her until I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. Just like a few things that she would say. I was like, she sounds familiar. It was cool because Iron Bull, it was like, you know, well, how do you feel about him being a her? And he's like, he's not. You know, it was cool that they didn't make a big deal about it. It was like, there's no big deal. California Girls, Beach Boys original or David Lee Roth cover, and Katy Perry is the wrong answer. Really? They always turn on the damn blender when I'm doing a video. This is on purpose. This is literally on purpose. I'm gonna sue someone. How long have you played bass? Were you ever in a band? And what's your favorite song to play? I think I started playing bass like 3 or 4 years ago. And I taught myself, I love playing music, but I've always taught myself, except when I played the violin. When I played the violin when I was a kid, I was actually like in a little kid orchestra at school, and I learned how to read music and all that. But that was when I was like from 8 years old to like 12. And then I stopped playing the violin. I was like, I don't like the violin. I want to play the piano. My dad bought me a keyboard, an electric keyboard. And I taught myself from what I knew about the violin, the chords, the notes and all that. It's pretty much the same thing. So I taught myself to play the piano. I did take piano classes afterwards so I could play it better. But I always had problems reading music because I always taught myself by ear. Like I'd listen to a song and then I'd play it. I don't know. I just don't like reading music. It takes a while for me to actually learn how to read it. But yeah, I have an electric bass and I played it for a little bit. And since I was teaching myself, it was hard. Like I'd never really learned very well how to play the bass. I never played in a band. I'm not the band type of person. And my favorite song to play on the bass, it's a very simple song, but I love playing it. I don't know why. And I never forgot how to play that song, was Bob Marley's Redemption song. That's when I got into bass, when I was listening to a lot of reggae. You know what I would love to learn how to do is slap bass, like funk. Oh, but that's hard, especially for someone that has never taken classes for the bass. That would take forever to teach yourself. So I would want to take some classes for that. If you ruled a kingdom, would you be more like Daenerys or Empress Celine? I think I would be more like Daenerys because you gotta have more dragons. More dragons is always good. What's your favorite video game of all time? Choose only one. I've always said that my favorite video game of all time is Red Dead Redemption. And a lot of people get really surprised because they expect me to say Mass Effect or Dragon Age or something like that. But I don't know. Red Dead Redemption, if I were to choose just one game, it would be Red Dead Redemption because Red Dead Redemption has it all, dude. Red Dead Redemption was just gorgeous in every aspect. I loved Red Dead Redemption. Based on your personality, what fictional worlds or setting do you think you'd thrive best in? I think I would thrive best in fantasy just because I'm very old school. I love antique stuff and vintage stuff and like vintage looking things, and like medieval stuff and like swords and horses and knights and armor and all that stuff and dragons. I'd be probably like some kind of scholar, wizard, magician thing with a talking owl, dude. And his name would be Thaddeus. I already have an owl named Thaddeus. I've showed you him, right? And now if only I could like put like little Velcro right here, I would have him. I'd just carry him everywhere. We heard an owl in my backyard yesterday. It was like, whoo, like really close. And I was like, oh. You know what it reminded me of? It was funny because my brother all of a sudden just goes, Ichabod. Ichabod. Do you remember in the Disney's Ichabod Crane, the Headless Horseman one, the Sleepy Hollow, the cartoon, like when he's riding in the forest and you hear woo, woo. It reminded me of that. It sounded just like that. Anyways, what is your dream plot for Star Wars 7 and what do you not want to see? Dream plot, I don't know. Like, I'm open for whatever. But what I do not want to see is I do not want to see all that stupid goofiness that freaking George Lucas was doing in the prequels. Oh my God. All that stupid, pointless goofiness was just so ridiculous and out of place and just annoying that you just like, oh my God, no, dude, I cannot stand this. You know, where it was like slapstick almost with R2-D2 and C-3PO. They were like freaking, I don't know, the Three Stooges or something like that. And it was, oh my God, I do not want to see that. If that is even put a little bit in these movies, I'm going to walk out of the theater screaming. Why do Americans call football soccer and rugby football? So I actually looked this up because I was like, you know what? I don't know. Let me see. Rugby, I read that rugby was originally called rugby football, but the football was dropped, and now it's just rugby. And plus, rugby and American football aren't the same game. They're different. And also, it was called football, not because you're using your feet, but because it's a game that you're on your feet. But the thing about soccer, which I was like, oh, in your face, booyah. A game of two names. Historians reveal why America calls the game that the rest of the world calls football soccer, and find that the British are to blame. The word soccer is actually a British term that comes from association football. US historians have found they were investigating the history of the word and the cultural difference behind it. In fact, the use of the term goes back 200 years, they say. The researchers found the word soccer, in fact, originated in Britain at the end of the 19th century and was commonly used there. It appears that as the popularity of soccer has grown in the US, the word has been used less and less in Britain. The paper analyzed usage of the two words from 1900 and found British people only stopped using about 30 years ago. British people stopped using the word soccer about 30 years ago. Americans invented their own variant of the game that they simply called football in the early 1900s. Association football became soccer in America, and what was called gridiron in Britain became simply football in America. Since 1980, the usage of the word soccer has declined in British publication, and where it is used, it usually refers to an American context, the researchers say. You British people are to blame. And I'm surprised that Britain called it soccer just like 30 years ago. So I was just like, whatever, dude. I call it both because in Spanish it's called football as well. So, or more like football. So, whatever, dude. I don't care. Same game. Whatever. Oh, the light. Oh my god, this is gonna annoy me. Oh my god, son, you seriously have to always ruin everything. Really, the ones. Ugh. Do you speak Spanish? Can you say something for us? Sí hablo español. El español fue mi primer idioma. I know. Surprise. Feliz Navidad a todos mis seguidores y próspero año nuevo y a comer muchos tamales. Los quiero mucho. Do you speak any other languages? Fluently? No. The only fluent languages that I speak are English and Spanish. And I also read Spanish, and I could write in Spanish. So I've taken classes and all that, and to learn the language fully. I learned how to speak it at home, but I learned how to write it at school, and not high school, dude. High school Spanish classes, yeah, no. In college, and I learned how to read it when I was a little kid. My mom would get me books in Spanish, and I started to learn how to read it. Other languages that I've learned are French, so I know a little bit of French, especially when reading it. When listening, it's hard because sometimes some words sound so different, and I'm like, oh my god, what did they say? Listening to somebody speak is always the best way to learn how to speak a language. But when you're first learning, it's so hard to like, you're like, oh my god, I don't know what they said, like, because they say so fast, they talk it so they speak it so fast that you're just like, oh my god. And French is a gorgeous language, but it's hard. The noises that they make, it's so hard. I love French. I wish I could speak it fluently because I am part French. I do know some words. I think the one word that I've always used when I know somebody's French, I go, oh, ça va bien. And then they start speaking to me in French, and I'm like, oh my god. Don't ever get yourself into that situation where they start, oh, you speak French, and then they start talking to you in French, and you're like, I know how to count in French. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've said it so bad. My accent is pretty bad now. But I took the class in college. So I took, I think, 2 years of French in college. And I loved it. I had so much fun with it. I learned a poem, which I still know, but I'm pretty sure I'm saying a lot of it wrong. I'm gonna say it, and those French people, see if you understand what I'm saying. Une fourmi du 18 mètres avec un chapeau sur la tête. Ça n'existe pas, ça n'existe pas. Uniformi Trenontasha. That's the part that I don't know if I remember correctly. Plat de pingouin et du canard. Ça n'existe pas. Ça n'existe pas. Uniformi parlant. I forgot that part, but it's like uniformi parla latin. Parla et javanais or something. Ça n'existe pas. Ça n'existe pas. Eh, pourquoi pas? So I got like freaking less than half, like a quarter of that correct, I think. It's about a little, I think it was a grasshopper or an ant or something with a little hat on its head. I do remember that. Avec un chapeau sur la tête, which means a little hat on its head, or a hat on its head. What is your favorite comic book or manga? I never really read manga. I liked anime, but manga I didn't never really got into. But comic books, and I'm just going to talk about strictly comic books, like comic book series that were comic books from the beginning and not like Mass Effect. Because I love the Mass Effect comics, the Witcher comics, the Dragon Age comics, but we're not going to include that. My favorite comic books are the whole series of Calvin and Hobbes. Love Calvin and Hobbes. Bone. Oh my god. That comic was... If you guys haven't read Bone, do yourself a favor and look for it. That is probably my favorite comic of all time. Bone. That's it right there. But my other favorites are Calvin and Hobbes and Watchmen. Best movie in the Star Wars original trilogy. Hello, Empire Strikes Back. What is the worst game you've ever played? The one game that just pissed me off so much that I literally wanted to just throw it out the window and never see it again, that I was like, I am not playing this ever again. I refuse to play it. Was that stupid Sherlock Holmes game. Sherlock Holmes, and I don't even know the freaking name of it. It wasn't the last game that came out. It was the previous one. The previous Sherlock Holmes games, not this recent one, the other one. No. Would you be willing to lie to a court for a close friend if it meant saving your close friend from life in prison? If the friend did something bad, if the friend is guilty, I would not lie. If the friend was innocent, didn't do what they were accused of, why would I lie? I wouldn't lie. I would tell the truth because, I wouldn't have any reason to lie specifically because that friend was innocent. And if I lied, it would just make things worse. To keep someone safe, I depending on the situation, I would lie. But when it comes to criminal acts and all that, no. If you had a nug, how would you name it? I do have a nug. He's right here. Could you guys see him? This is my nug, and his name is Squee. Do you have a preferred ME3, Mass Effect 3 ending? Yes, I do. My favorite is Control. Especially Control Extended Cut. Oh my god. Best science fiction ending for Mass Effect. At least for me. I loved that ending. And even Mark Meir said he loved that ending, so, Swooping is bad. Swooping is bad. It's bad. Do you watch anime? Not anymore. Not that I don't like anime. I still love anime. But I used to watch it way more than now. Now, I want to get back into watching some anime. I used to watch Dragon Ball Z. One of my favorite animes, or more like my favorite anime, is... Cowboy Bebop. So good. So freaking good. Ghost in the Shell. Standalone Complex. That was so good as well. On Toonami, I used to watch Tenchi Muyo. Outlaw Star. Gundam Wing, of course. Gundam 08 MS Team. That one was fun. Fruits Basket. Oh my god. That anime is so funny. I want to watch that anime again. Oh, Pokemon. Those were the ones that I would watch a lot. Those were some of my favorite ones. I do want to start watching anime again because there were some pretty good ones that I missed out on. Which voice actress do you prefer, Jennifer Hale or Melissa Hutchinson? Melissa Hutchinson, for those of you that don't know, is the voice of Clementine in The Walking Dead. And Jennifer Hale, of course, is FemShep, female shepherd in Mass Effect. And half of every other character in anime and in... video games. I actually like both because I respect both, and I think they're both amazing voice actresses because Melissa Hutchinson has had to do voices for children, and not just female, but also male as well. So that's not easy to do. You have to have a specific voice for that. So that's admirable on her end that she's done such a great job at doing children, like especially Clementine, the things that she went through in a video game like that, in a story like that, with a child going through that. She did such an amazing job. So admirable all around. And Jennifer Hale, I mean, dude, she has so much variety. Like she could do. You could give her anything, any role, and she could nail it. Especially when it comes to a strong character, man, she will blow that out of the park. But even if it's just a side character, it's one thing that I admire about Jennifer Hale is that she gives her all. She has fun doing it. She loves doing it. You could totally tell with her performance. So I admire both for different reasons. You walk into a Sky Lodge and you see Varric and Garrus at separate tables. You can only sit with one. Who do you sit with? Now, this is obviously taken from Walking Dead Season 2, the game. But I think I would sit with Varric because I think I would have more to talk about with Varric than I would with Garrus. I would love to sit with Garrus, but he'd probably tell me that he had to go calibrate something, and I'd be like, "Fool, I just sat here with you, you little punk." I think I would have more to talk about with Varric. If you could do anything you wanted to do for a day with no consequences, what would you do? Dude, I don't even have to think about this one. I would eat everything that I can't eat anymore because of gluten-free or because of fear of heart attacks and stuff like that. I would eat, oh my god, a freaking sub sandwich. I can't eat those anymore, and it's so good. I miss sub sandwiches, like from Jersey Mike's. Get out of town. I would eat a bunch of those, and I would eat all the pastries that I stopped eating, and freaking a lot of pumpkin pie and gingerbread cookies. And it's pretty funny though, because I think a lot of people would be like, "Oh, I would do this, and I would jump off a plane, and I would like do this and that, and probably do something bad or whatever." But I'm like, I would eat all the things. What's your favorite book and why? I have so many favorite books. Sherlock Holmes. The series of Sherlock Holmes is just brilliant. Brilliantly written. Amazing character. So good. The mysteries are freaking awesome. Beowulf. Dude, I love Beowulf. I've read Beowulf so many times, and the thing that makes me love it so much is once you start reading it once, twice, 3 times, over and over, you start to analyze what things mean and what things stand for, and you're like, dude, there's so much more meaning here. It's not just a tale about a hero. No, there's so much more there. I love Beowulf for that. Hamlet's my favorite Shakespeare play. The Canterbury Tales, so funny, brilliant, genius. Dracula, I love that book so much. Dude, don't talk to me right now. When did you discover the Fountain of Youth? Oh, a long time ago. And I'm not sharing either, so. Do you have a favorite tavern song from DAI? Mine is Once We Were. That's exactly the one that I love. I love Once We Were. And I just heard it the other day. I was about to leave the tavern, and I heard the girl singing it. And I was like, and I literally turned right back around, and I went there, and I stood there in front of the girl singing it, and I was like, this song is really good. Like, I really love Once We Were, and the Sarah song. Like, I like that one too. Thelma and Louise era Brad Pitt or Benny and June era Johnny Depp? Neither. I like them older. When they're older, that's when I'm like, damn. Especially Johnny Depp. Do you read Wattpad books? I don't even know what that is, so no. I'm sorry. Last year I asked if you could learn any spell, what would it be? Is it still Mind Blast, or has Inquisition changed that? No, it's still Mind Blast. Wall of Flame would be another one. Oh my god, that would be so useful. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done? I actually have a video, multiple videos, maybe like a 2-parter or a 3-parter of the most embarrassing things that I did. This was one of the very first videos that I made on my first channel, so I'll link it somewhere here. Hopefully I remember, so you could go watch that with a bunch of embarrassing things, because I I've done a lot. Would you like to have short hair again? Sometimes I feel like it. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna chop off my freaking hair because now I have a lot. I've always had a lot of hair. That's why you see me like always going like this, and I don't always like to have it up in a ponytail. Here at home, I do have it in a ponytail most of the time. But yeah, I always have to be doing this because when it comes in my face, it just gets everywhere. Like it just goes crazy, and I'm like, and that's when I'm like, you know, I'm gonna cut it. Like I'm gonna cut it back again, and I'm gonna shave. Sometimes I want to shave it all off. It's been falling a lot though. Lately, my hair's been falling, and I'm like, it's a good thing I had a lot because I would have been bald by now. So that's when I'm like, I'm gonna shave my head, dude. I don't even care. But I don't think I would dare to, and I don't think my mom would let me because she would probably disown me the minute I walked into the door. Yeah, sometimes I feel like it, but I don't think I will go that short anymore. Like when I first started my channel, and even before then. Before then, I had it really short. I don't think I'll go shorter than shoulder length anymore. But who knows? I don't know. That's pretty much it. So ask more questions in the comments down below. I will do one of these every now and then until I hit 12. Don't expect one every day. It'll just be like an every other day type of thing or something like that, or every time I can. I do want to put more videos out there. Like I want to film some reactions for Inquisition, and also I want to talk about other stuff. Like I have so many things already planned. I already have notes for other stuff. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Ask your questions in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys later.